Alright, we are looking at the Anti-Shadowbow Defense Force versus Junkrat OTPs in the final weeks of qualifications. For our first map, the Anti-Shadowbow Defense Force banned Ana and Zarya, and Junkrat OTPs banned Ramatra and Cassidy. What we see here, if I stop going into the wall, is that the Anti-Shadowbow Defense Force is running Orisa, Sigma, Freya, Ashe, Baptiste, and Zenyatta. A very strong Pokécomp. Whereas Junkrat OTPs have opted for a triple support Divier comp. Crocodile HTS getting very, very quickly killed by the ASDF. Mostly due to the Discord orb. Alright, Fancy takes down Igiwaru, who was on the flank here. Alright. Eve goes down to Blue Dragon Flood. And we see as the teams must reset. Vizier has marked the Sombra. And we see Fanternal looking for the Sombra. Crocodile goes in again and gets taken down by Bossman along with the rest of the ASDF. He really is inting forward a lot here, but just one good dive and it could be over for them. Fanternal taking down Igiwaru. Alright, Fanternal setting a lot of the enemies on fire here. And we see Crocodile diving in yet again. Exploding yet again. That is... Ooh, Snake Sandwich goes down to Gyro Dog. But there was a Lucio beat forced out. That is Link being forced to use ult there. Midnight Eve going down to Fantasy, who has a nice aerial overhead on the enemies here. Bossman kills Igiwaru, Blue Dragon Flood going down to Crocodile HTS. This could be a lot of space they're able to take with Blue having gone down. The Transcendence is forced from Snake Sandwich, and we see a big ult from Bossman. Fortunately, Bossman is about to go down himself. Blue about to get back, and Crocodile HTS is low, one shot himself. Alright, we see as Bob gets forced out from Fanternal, and the only ult available is EMP, but without Igiwaru alive, that means that Junkrat OTPs is not going to be able to use it on their contest here until Igiwaru revives. Alright. The Sombra goes in, dying immediately, but getting the ultimate off. And all of Junkrat OTPs goes down the staircase. Here we see the Lucio ult come out, Link FM taking a shot from above. Crocodile going in, getting 3. Blue taking down Hose Machine, but it is just the tanks left alive on point here. And Blue might be going down shortly here. Yes, Fantasy goes down. It is just the tanks left alive. Bossman goes down shortly after. Blue Dragon Flood does too. And that is first point in favor of Junkrat OTPs. We will see them looking to win the rest of the map here. The ASDF looking to stop them inside the warehouse. Fantasy getting quickly taken down. And Blue takes down Igiwaru. This is Snake Sandwich unfortunately going down to Crocodile. Meteor Strike coming out, and he gets on Fanternal. I did not see what happened there. Alright, Bossman unfortunately going down. That is all of ASDF in spawn room or close to it. Fantasy is standing still. I believe he is about to be swapping heroes here. Alright, Gyrodog forced off by Orisa with the spear. There are a lot of ults here. Bossman looking to do damage to Gyrodog. Gyrodog being forced to use ult. Yes, Fantasy now on the Echo. And looking to dive in on Eve here. Alright. Gyrodog did dive in, but unfortunately gets taken out of mech. That is an Orisa ult here from Blue Dragon Flood. Fantasy able to take down Igiwaru with Fanternal throwing out the Bob. Eve uses ult trying to stabilize here. Crocodile getting a lot done, but the lamp is just stopping him in his tracks. And that is even more dead. 30 seconds left for the Anti-Shadowbow Defense Force. Igiwaru at 11 HP, forced to get out. Here we see that Junkrat OTPs are getting together to recontest. Alright. Croc has dove in, looking to survive here. Gyrodog got demacked almost immediately. And the ASDF tanks are not willing to let go of this right now. Alright, Fanternal takes down 2 from the high ropes. This is the 3rd kill for Fanternal in a row. And both the remaining members of JOTPs were forced off, leaving a uncaptured second point. The ASDF will have to push all the way to second point if they want to win this map, but it is a nice spot to hold. Alright. On defense here, we have Crocodile and Gyrodog choosing to play the Sigma and Orisa, the same combo that Blue and Bossman are playing right now. Link is also on the Baptiste, Pose Machine on the Kiriko, and Eve on the Lucio, and Igiwaru off the Sombra onto the Soldier 76. I just realized I never talked about their team. Vizier and Snake still on the Bap Zen. Fantasy off the Echo and onto the Genji, and Fanternal onto the Sombra off of the Ashe. I feel like there's more team coherence in the setup of JOTPs here, playing more long range with the Lucio to anchor the height, whereas the DPS line of Junkrat is, or the DPS line of the ASDF are very divey, whereas the rest of them have to play slow. It sort of clashes with the team coherence. Fantasy getting forced out and killed by Gyrodog. Ooh, Snake might be getting caught here. Almost dying, but luckily living. Good corner to get around there. Blue is low yet again, and Bossman just got picked off by Hose Machine. Alright, Blue has gone down to Igiwaru. Busier Stream going down to Eve. Snake trying to get back into the spawn room. Fantasy is low. Looking to try and kill Crocodile there. Alright, Bossman has swapped over to Diva. Blue is still on the Orisa, but it's looking like the team might be swapping over to a divier composition, trying to double down on the dive instead of going towards poke. Alright, Busier Stream taking down Crocodile. The horses battling for center. Blue going down to Eve. Gyro trying to walk out here. Lord, this is an ult from Zenyatta to stabilize ASDF on the point. That is a big... Oh, Fantasy with the Genji ult, forcing out beat. Blue has swapped over to the Winston, but the Visor and the Sigma ult forcing or killing both the DPS from the ASDF. Zenyatta going down shortly after, and it is not looking too hot for the ASDF. Winston going down as well. Alright, Snake has gone from Zenyatta to the Lucio, and Busier Stream has gone from the Bat to the Kiriko. They're now a full dive comp. Will this help them take the final point? Alright. They have gone indoors, and that is EMP having gone out. Blue's looking to kill Croc here, hopefully. Vanternal does take down Igiwaru, and Gyrodog uses ult, not getting anyone. Ooh, Bossman got his remech cancelled. Fantasy does take down Gyrodog. He's on that Genji. Alright, Fantasy still on the backline of the... Ooh, taking down Eve with the Swift Strike. And Bossman is back now. We see the Flux come out. Fanternal going down to it. Blue getting hit with the rock, but Bossman is able to take down Hose Machine. And with the Lucio ult from Snake Sandwich, Crocodile does go down. Gyrodog is going to be soon to follow, and it is just Lucio left on point. And in overtime, yet again, first point will be captured. ACF going with 2.5 minutes to get to the end of second point here on Havana for them to win the first map. Alright, Blue did jump on the enemies there. And that is enemy dying there. Blue going down to Midnight Eve. And we see Gyrodog sitting on point with Croc. Now that they have the numbers advantage, just stalling the cart. A really good play from them here. Bossman being forced to run away. Croc still holding off the rest of the ACF while Gyrodog repositions for some point progress, or to search for flankers. Snake going down to Eve's boop, unfortunately. Fantasy looking at Gyrodog here on the height. With the Baptiste window coming out from Link FM, Most of ASDF is going to opt to stay below it. Both the tanks dive onto the ult, and Bossman is able to take down Link's Immortality Field, but unfortunately that's just not going to be enough. Snake Sandwich has used Lucio ult, and they have survived the attacks, but alright. Winston is back to help with the fight, but he is behind his team, and his health is already gone. Fantasy using the Genji ult, unfortunately getting forced away, and the Baptiste lamp is just gonna be too strong against them here. Alright, Blue has swapped over to the Mauga here to try and get a last minute touch. Not entirely sure why, or what this guy was thinking. And Link, EMP has gone out, but Link was able to take down Fanternal almost immediately. Both tanks are already down, and Fantasy is going to look for the last minute contest here on the card. Unfortunately, he goes down. It's just Fanternal who's coming back from spawn, and Junkrat OTPs have taken map 1 against the ASDF. The ASDF finally showing some weakness here and losing map 1. The first time in any of their sets. For our second map, the ASDF have taken us to Esperanza. I have to update the score. There it is. For this map, the ASDF have banned Mauga Lucio, and the Junkrat OTPs have banned Orisa Genji. For the side of the ASDF, we have Blue Dragon Flood on Ramatra, Bossman on the Zarya, which is their two signature heroes in this tournament. Fantasy is on the Echo, Fanternal, on the Sojourn, Vizier Stream on the Ana, and Snake on the Juno. A stronger, or a very double flex support backline, which is going to be very easy to dive, but very strong in terms of healing. Alright. Croc looking to get the pin onto Blue Dragon Flood, going very low. Igiwaru on the Ramatra, and Gyrodog has taken down Fanternal. Fantasy taking down Igiwaru. Alright. Bossman at full charge. Blue looking to push forward here just a little bit. And with Gyrodog taking down Fantasy, we see as Croc goes to push around the corner, trying to not get pummeled by Blue Dragon Flood. But the healing output on his side, yep, Croc takes down Bossman. Gyrodog taking down Snake Sandwich and Blue Dragon Flood and Busier Stream. This is the ACF getting completely cleaned up by the Junkrat OTPs. Speaking of them, their team is Crocodile HTS on the Reinhardt, Igiwaru on the Ramatra, Gyrodog on the single DPS, and they are triple supporting with Link FM on the Juno, Midnight Eve on the Brig, and Hose Machine on the Kiriko, allowing for the weakness of the Brig Juno to be cleansed away because Ana is very strong into them. Blue getting shattered and taken down. Crocodile HTS really just laying in the fact that he is going to shatter the shit out of this guy. Fanternal able to take down Hose Machine with with the Disruptor shot here. And Snake unfortunately doesn't get much in terms of that. Alright. Blue has popped the Ramatra ultimate, but he went way too far in and is dead for it. And this is just more progress being made for Junkrat OTPs. The ASTF are flustered here without two of their signature players. It is just... is unfortunate for them. And Eve has taken down Snake Sandwich. The tanks finally pushing forward again. That is a massive Zarya ult. Unfortunately, the whip shot from Eve was able to keep Blue Dragon Flood away, so he was not able to pummel into them, dealing almost 240 for punch there. But yeah, that is... Blue's taken down yet again, and at the end of the map, we see the ASDF just still struggling. With the Juno coming out here, we may see signs of life from the ASDF. Yep, Croc very low. Croc actually going down to Blue Dragon Flood, and he is slowly inching forward. The May swap from Fanternal, and we see as Blue is getting pocketed by both supports, which are still sitting behind him. He is trying to make stuff happen here. Fantasy on the side here. But we see Gyrodog does have ultimate. Igiwaru did go down. Crocodile still on his way back. The ACF are pushing back. Alright. Blue has used Nemesis form here. Gyrodog. Oh, that is Fantasy copying the Reinhardt and getting forced out. Big anti on the enemy team. Blue is able to pick off Eve, and Gyrodog is forced backwards by the Ramantra ultimate, using most of Overclock on nothing but still killing Fantasy on the way out. However, the ACF are still pushing forward here. Igiwaru ults. And Blue completely fucking explodes yet again. Igiwaru's ultimate taking down Bossman. Crocodile's Fire Strike taking down Fanternal. And Gyrodog takes down Vizier's Stream. This is yet another map flip for the ASDF. Alright, Crocodile's ult did come out yet again and got Boss, and Gyrodog was able to take down Bossman. Some here getting frozen, and we see as Gyrodog is looking to mark Fantasy, who is still up there. With Blue getting killed, and that is map over in favor of Junkrat OTPs, finally taking the first set off of ASDF since the start of the season. And there will be a third map played here. For our final map here, the ASDF has opted to take us to Lijiang Tower. For the bans, Doomfist and Brigitte were banned by the Anti-Shadowbow Defense Force, and Junkrat OTPs banned the Zarya and Ana, taking inspiration from the bans of round 1 from Blue Dragonflood's team. Blue is on the Hazard, Bossman on the Diva, Fantasy on the solo DPS Tracer, Fanternal on the Baptiste, Snake on the Lucio, and Vizier Stream on the Juno. For the side of Junkrat OTPs going into this first fight, Crocodile HTS on the Reinhardt again. Gyrodog is on the Sojourn, still solo tank, DPSing. It is the same team as their Esperanza game, except Igiwaru is off the Ramatra and onto the Mauga. And as I was explaining what the team was, the Anti-Shadowbow Defense Force were ran over. Vizier Stream getting a nice survive there. Blue blocking off Crocodile, forcing him to get away from his team, or get away from Blue's team. Gyrodog does take down Busier Stream with a well-placed railgun shot. Gyrodog having a very nice angle as the ACF are funneled through the choke. And Crocodile HTS has used ult already, pinning Snake Sandwich and just getting out. Blue is trying to farm his perk up to help him push forward more, but I honestly don't think Hazard is the right play here. Alright, Blue is forced to back away here. Here is down for, unfortunately, it is blocked by Crocodile for himself, and Blue is too far away from the rest of the team to get it. This is ult from Bossman on Igiwaru. Blue has walked back to the spawn room to swap to Ramatra. This does feel like a better choice for him against the current composition that is being ran by Junkrat OTPs, but Crocodile getting another big shatter that just kills all of them. Alright, Lucio did come out very prematurely from Snake Sandwich. There was a conversation with him about not doing that ever again. Crocodile taking down Snake Sandwich, Gyrodog taking down Fantasy. It is really just the ACF were trying to get a touch, and unfortunately their touch did not go well. And Blue and Bossman are taken down, and what the hell happened to my video game? I apologize for my replay viewer crashing. We're gonna go back to that fight, and if I disconnect again, I will be crying. Blue stream goes down. Blue Dragon Flood going to be soon to follow along with Bossman. Yet again, the ACF were just trying to get a touch, and unfortunately have gone down. Oh, my fucking client disconnected again. Alright, I just had to skip past it. But the ACF lost the first round, and we see that Bossman has swapped over to the Roadhog. Eve missing her rollout, unfortunately going straight into the water. And with that, the Anti-Shadowbow Defense Force are trying to push forward and take the fight with the 6v5. Alright. Blue going forward to punch Igiwaru. Eve pushing him away. And Iggy does go down. First contest of point is done successfully by the Dragon Flood. And Bossman, the Anti-Shadowbow Defense Force taking point first. Going off of the side here to try and avoid getting booped. Unfortunately, Bossman does get low and misses his hook, meaning that the Anti-Shadowbow Defense Force has to play this fight 6v6. That is Crocodile HTS doing a massive shatter. Bossman does go down, and Crocodile is on both Lucio and Blue Dragon Flood here. And Ramatra uses the ult to survive and stabilize himself. And Blue is able to take down Crocodile HTS. Running on Link, then shortly after Lucio, Blue getting all three. And we see as the ACF have stabilized on point. Finally showing a dominant performance for the first time this set. Alright, Blue has been grabbed by Crocodile HTS. Blue going forward here. Croc completely whiffing Shatter. I have missed all of the fight on the point. Unfortunately, with Blue Dragonflood away, even though Blue survived Croc trying to hit him off and kill him, he has gone down. Snake trying to contest the point and dying there. Blue has been seen by Link and is running away. And Croc does get his get back by finally pinning Blue off the map. Fantasy now on the point, and Fanternal has taken down Link. Alright. Alright, Blue has popped the Annihilation here on point, looking at taking the point here, right now, but he does go down, unfortunately. They are busy. The Junkrat OTP is busy looking at busier stream here, allowing Fantasy to get a nice pulse bomb off onto Iguaru. Bossman taking down 2 more, and it is just Croc and Eve on the point. Bossman unfortunately going down, but Fanternal is maybe going to take down Eve here. Eve does not even touch Snake, having killed Crocodile, and the ASDF have finally taken one part of the map here. They have taken second point, and we will be going to the final point of Lijiang Tower, which I believe is called Night Market, even though it's the daytime. I'm sorry, I'll see myself out. Alright, Iguaru has swapped off the Mauga back onto the Ramatra, and Gyrodog is on the Symmetra, looking to portal his team onto point here. Blue has swapped to the Orisa momentarily. Iguaru is back onto the Mauga, having baited me in the replay. And Fantasy is now off the Tracer and onto the Venture. Blue unfortunately goes down there. And we see as Fantasy goes down to Crocodile taking down 2. Just showing an absolute dominant performance here. Bossman goes down. Alright, busier stream, taking down Iguaru. Alright, Blue looking to do lots of damage here to Crocodile. Gyrodog actually taking down Snake Sandwich here. Fantasy taking down Link. And we see his Fantasy is on the side here. Blue was able to take down Croc. Eve going down to Bossman. And Fantasy is going forward using the Excavation Initiation. Gyrodog able to escape. Iguaru goes down. And Blue is here popping the Annihilation. And takes down Link, takes down Crocodile here. And Fantasy able to take down Gyrodog. The ASDF are holding on nicely here. They have finally gotten the capture, and they're at 16% already. Gyrodog is off of the Symmetra back onto the Sojourn. Their team comp really working here. Alright, Crocodile did use Shatter and almost already has it back because he shattered the entire enemy team and kicked their ass. Alright, Hose Machine able to take down Busier Stream. And that is another big fucking shatter that the ASDF were not prepared for, as Croc had just used it. With Bossman getting jumped on by Igiwaru. That is just unfortunate, Croc having taken down Bossman. Blue Dragon Flood, not Dragon Flood, Fantasy on the point as Venture. And with Eve's ult coming out, Busy Stream is forced away. Blue popping the Annihilation, unfortunately getting no value out of it because the team has already kited out very well. JOTPs realizing they were down. Gyrodog unfortunately getting caught by Bossman, finished off by Snake Sandwich, but the AFCF have almost no ults here. And Gyrodog's ult might just completely destroy them here. Eve taking down Snake Sandwich very easily. They're able to push in here, and we see the overclock finally come out. Shooting mostly the tanks here so far. Ooh, Gyrodog got a nice pick onto Fantasy. And that is yet another fucking shatter from Crocodile here. And Junkrat OTPs have 3-0'd the ASDF. And game is over. Unfortunate here.